Hi everyone. I'll just wait. Hi everyone. Just wait for few people to tune in. Hold on a minute. Sorry about that. I'll just try and do something. How do you do this now? Yeah, I just thought I'll just put everyone instead of tagging individually. It'd be easier. Yeah, wait for a few people to tune in first. I've had some good news, but also I've got some more further challenges ahead. So I'll wait a few more people to tune in. I've just put everyone. Are we going to get anyone to tune in? Just wait a few more minutes. Because every time I do a Facebook Live, I start talking and then people are asking me questions. And oh God, I've got to go back again. Anyway, I'll just do this Facebook Live. If anyone wants to watch it back or ask questions. It was regards to Wolverhampton Homes. I've obviously not slating, I'm just going to state the facts here. That's my nan's landlord's provider. Obviously, I can't go into too much detail because of GDPR, data protection. They were going to put her in. Let me see if I can find it. They were going to, it's called a decant property. They were going to put her in. Like it's like an empty property. I can't tell you any more than that. And I was like, well, it's an empty shell basically. There's no carpet. They don't know whether the bathroom was suitable for my nan for 3 weeks because there's asbestos in the tile flooring, which the care company said to me, your nan can't be there. Kitchen cupboards, that's been going on for 3 years. And all the time they could have told me I could have got a proxy form. And maybe this would have been sorted out 3 years ago. The kitchen cupboards are falling apart. Last year, 2 of them nearly fell on her foot. Well, one nearly fell on her foot, and the other one could have injured herself. So I had to throw them away and break them up and throw them out the back. They were going to put her in this decamp property, an empty shell basically. And I says, well, she's got a Ring doorbell, which I've got permission of Wolverhampton Homes. So if you put her in this, and they said, well, move some of her furniture into this. Hi, Ian Saunders. They were going to put her in this empty shell property. It's called decamp property. Decamp property, yeah. And it had no carpet. They said, oh, we'll help to put some furniture into your nan's property. And I says, one problem. I had a meeting with them today. I said, she needs to go into residential care. If you tell her it's residential care, she's going to say no, because I've got lasting power of attorney now. And if you say it's respite, then she's not going to get stressed out and stuff like that, because you can't stress people out with dementia. You have to tell them what they want to know. And she won't retain that information long enough. She'll probably forget. So we'll just say it's respite. So this decamp property is off the cards now, because I said, well, I've got lasting power of attorney. All decisions need to go through me. So that's off the cards. I had an email today. I might not be able to go into too much detail. Repeated concerns from myself regards to my nan going into temporary accommodation. This is not a respite placement. It's reintegrated. That the decant option was the one option considered in addition to my nan going into respite placement with Wolverhampton Homes covering the costs, because with the issues with the kitchen cupboards that has gone on for 3 years now, and this could have been resolved many years ago. That's no fault of my nan's own. And obviously the asbestos and the tile flooring in the hallway, that dragged out for about a year, about maybe 8 months to a year at the top of my head. And this is no fault of my nan's own, so they'll have to foot the bill. So just going off alliteration about that, covering the cost during the period of the repairs, Wolverhampton are still committed within reason to pay the cost of respite placement, if this is still least restricted option for my nan to go for the length of time of the repairs. As going into decamp property is now considered a decamp property is now considered not appropriate for my nan, Wolverhampton Homes will release the earlier identification property for relet. This person will arrange to access the property with the contractor and myself in attendance for assessment of repairs required to determine how long it would be completed. The repairs in the determined, there's 3 possibilities: how long it would be to complete the repairs in the property; 2, possibility for my nan to safely remain in the property during the period of repairs; or 3, other considerations to... Oh, it's cut some off the email. Oh, it's cut off the email for some reason. Now I've printed it off. Can't read the rest without cutting off the live. A follow-up meeting will be scheduled as soon as possible after the site visit to discuss and agree next steps. Views of the professionals will be considered to take a decision that will address any disruptions and mitigate the impact this might have on my nan. So I've won that battle and fight, but we've got to see what happens now. Basically, they were going to move in this property. It's an empty shell, basically. And I said to Wolverhampton Homes, with the social worker, without naming names because of data protection, is that if you move her into this temporary decamp property for 3 weeks, well, they said it might take 3 weeks, with some of her furniture, she could think, this ain't my property. And if that ring doorbell ain't on, whether it's on or not, she could wander off going, this ain't my home, and wander off in the dead of night, going to her old address, even though it's a temporary accommodation that Wolverhampton Homes have, and she'll put herself at risk and in danger. I said, so that ain't going to work. So that's off the cards now. I highlighted and raised my points. And also, the other thing is, the other turn is, she could go after 3 weeks going effing and jeffing, or going, no, why are you moving me for? This is my home. This is my property. So what you're saying, that's off the cards now. That ain't going to work. She needs to go into residential. But the things that I've just repeated without waffling on, they're going to consider all these 3 options. I think basically Wolverhampton Homes will have to foot the bill, but because it's over 500 and something pound, because my nan can't afford to cover the cost. If it's, say, example, hypothetically, if it was £600 and it took 3 weeks, my nan would have to foot the bill of the rest. So, example, if it cost 1,550, example, and it was more than that, then my nan would have to pay the rest. I said, so it's got to stay within that 500 and whatever pounds it is per week. Otherwise, my nan would have to pay that extra cost. So they've got, the social workers now got to look at care homes, considering all these options that I've just read out to you, updating the issues with my nan and Wolverhampton Homes and the social worker meeting via Teams today. That's where we are at that stage with this. I just felt like I wanted to cry. Not because I'm sad, because I was like, people might not like swearing, so I do apologise. And I was thinking, thank fuck for that. But the battles might not be over yet. We'll see what happens. But please, I know it's a big responsibility for people, but if you have not got lasting power of attorney, for a loved one, finance and health and well-being. Obviously, I'm just going off people like my nan with dementia. If it weren't for me getting lasting power of attorney, it would have been left to the local authority and they would have done their own fucking thing and I would have been screwed and they wouldn't have listened to a word I was saying now. So I urge people, obviously anyone can get a lasting power of attorney, but especially for people with looking after people with dementia, in my circumstances, I urge, don't leave it too late. Get lasting power of attorney, especially with someone that you're looking after with dementia, because once they lose mental capacity, and if you haven't got lasting power of attorney for finance and health and well-being, you're screwed. They ain't, it doesn't matter what you say, they won't listen to you. So thank God I had that. I got that just before Christmas. That's, without waffling on too much, people can watch this live back. I've got now another another 3 challenges I have to face now. Like I said, it's like a bloody roller coaster ride. It's like one challenge is resolved, then there's another one, and another one, and another one. Because obviously, I can now find out through my nan's finances. I can't go into too much detail with that because it's personal information. But my nan's been paying TV licence when she's on pension credit from the age of... from the age of 75, you haven't got to pay TV licence if you're on pension credit. Now, my nan's been paying since the age of 75 and now she's 82. And she shouldn't be paying. She's paying TV licence, however much it is. And also she's got a standing order. So I rang TV licence. They're sending me the relevant paperwork. And then I'll have to send them a copy of the LPA without going into too much information. I'm limited because of GDPR. And if they do owe her money, which they will, they'll have to send a cheque to my address. I'll have to put, it needs to come to me. But I've got to wait 10 days for that piece of paper to come in. And then I'll have to send them the document, a copy of the LPA. So that's something else, another challenge that I have to look into. The other thing is, it's not much of a challenge, but it's like more like a task, is that I've got to get my nan's mail all redirected to my address, which I've spoken to a counsellor that knows me quite well. And I've got to I spoke to Age UK. Hold on, let me see if I can find my notes. Bear with me. On a piece of paper, I need to type them up in a bit. Is that it? No, bear with me. My notes. I have to make little notes of everything. Conversations, if I can find it. No, I can't freaking find it. Found it. I need to, I spoke to a counsellor that knows me quite well because I do a lot in the community, as people know. And also I run a social group on top of looking after my nan, which is really difficult at times. But hey-ho, yeah, I have a little meltdown now and again. I'm not ashamed to say I have got mental health issues because a lot of people, it's a known fact, a lot of people with mental health issues, especially men, are not open and confident enough to say, I'm struggling, I've got mental health issues, especially in men. It's a known fact. Most men won't talk about it. I was one of those men. I wouldn't talk about my mental health, and I was like ashamed. I didn't want to talk about it. I weren't open like I am now. But it's a known fact that men don't talk about their mental health. I am very open about it. I'm not ashamed. I do have little meltdowns now and again, and I get a bit teary and stuff like that. You know, and it is a struggle. So, yeah. Regards to Age UK, sorry, I'm going off tangent. Regards to Age UK, I rang them. They said I need to speak to Money Help, Financial Conduct Authority. They gave me some numbers, and also Age UK in Wolverhampton. Is because obviously I'm transferring money from my nan's account to my account. And now I've got lasting power of attorney. I want online, and I want an online bank account for my nan. Now I've got lasting power of attorney. So then I'm going to transfer it to my account and then pay her invoices through my online banking. I do keep receipts of everything and document everything, and I have to separate it from my money to my nan's with great difficulty. So I went into the bank, so I spoke to him on the phone, and this counsellor said to me, that don't seem right to me, ring Age UK, which have mentioned Money Help and Financial Conduct Authority, which I will try to do tomorrow. If not, it'll be Monday. They're saying, because obviously we run a social group, which people know, and apparently, and I spoke to a manager today, he said, that is correct, which this counsellor said to me, that don't seem right to me, ring Age UK. So I did, and the numbers I will look into, if not tomorrow, Monday. You'd have to deactivate your business account, even though we're not for profit, because you can't have an online account for your nan, for her finances, as well as a business account. Even though you're not for profit, you'd have to deactivate it, which this counsellor said to me, don't seem right to me. So that's another task or challenge or whatever you want to call it that I've got to look into. So that's something else. Also, for when that time comes, when my nan does eventually die or, pass away, because everyone knows when you lose someone, in your family or friends and stuff like that, your head's not in a good place. You're all over the place. So, because my nan hasn't got a birth certificate and she was born in Ireland, Limerick, I'm going to have to find out and ring up or online to get a copy of her birth certificate. I don't know whether that's going to be a challenge or not. I don't know. And also, Age UK Wolverhampton are open Monday next week. They're not open now till next week in Wolverhampton. Sorry if I'm waffling on. And they're saying it's like a form you fill in to get my nan's mail redirected to my address. Now I've got lasting power of attorney. On the form from the post office, it states that you have to pay, but it doesn't say how much. You can get it for 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. So I rang up the local post office by me, and they said if it was 12 months, it would be £66.99 per year, which this counsellor that knows me quite well, I rang her, that don't seem right to me. So Age UK, the national one or whatever it was that I rang, they said ring Age UK Wolverhampton, and I don't know whether they'll be able to help you and explain the situation. So that's something else as well. But yeah, for people that are just tuning in on my Facebook Live, you will have to, I don't want to repeat myself again. No disrespect, I'm not being rude. You'll have to watch this live back. But my heart, all I say for people that have just tuned in, my heart goes out to people that are looking after people with dementia. It is very incredibly hard. It really is. I run a social group, which people know, voluntary. I put my heart and soul into this group, as well as Marcus and myself. But not only that, I'm looking after my nan with dementia on top, as well as all these issues and barriers or challenges or whatever you want to call them. And I have felt like low at times, and I felt like I've had a mini meltdown, and I've had an outburst of like crying. But like I said, going off subject now, but it's a known fact that men with mental health, they don't talk about it. I was one of those men that didn't talk about my mental health, because I thought, I don't want people knowing that. I'm ashamed about my mental health. I know mental health can affect everybody. So yeah, more challenges ahead. But yeah, that was a bit of an update. But I will keep you all posted. I think I've done enough gibbering. But yeah, I will keep fighting. I don't care if it'll stress me out at times. I will keep fighting and I won't give up. You know, from a lot of people that know me personally, but a lot of people that don't know me personally, from childhood to college, to having lack of education and going to a special school and being neurodiverse and stuff like that, from setting up this social group to attending various meetings, and to at one time I used to have support workers years ago. I have flourished and developed as a person. It's made me who I am today. I am a fighter. You know, it's made me stronger, more confident, more positive person is the only thing I can say without waffling on too much. But yeah, I will do another Facebook Live. I don't know when it will be. What? Sorry, my partner was talking. So yeah, I will keep you all updated. I don't know when it will be, but yeah. But thank you all for tuning in and have a lovely evening. Thanks for tuning in.